Greetings and welcome, and come and join with me as I drive from Burgess Hill to Brighton. I've just delivered in Burgess Hill, but today we're going to play a game. Let's play a little game, shall we? Let's guess the range it takes me to get back to Brighton. So let's flick on how much we got here. So we've got 66 miles of range. It's 15 miles to drive. So is it going to be more? Is it going to be less? Let me know in the comments. Okay, off we go. The beautiful town of Burgess Hill. I'm back in the country. I was in the country for my last video. We're going to drive through the nice countryside again. And yeah, put in the comments, what do you think? 15 miles. Am I going to use 15 miles of range? Am I going to use less? I'm not using dual carriageway. It's all countryside driving. So there's a few sections that are 60 miles an hour, but I don't really drive that because I like to conserve my energy. I'm a big heavy van. And people get annoyed behind me sometimes when I'm driving along, but that's what it is. So, electric vehicle. I'm going to start with something actually. I'm going to start with this. As always in my Drive With Me videos, I'm going to timestamp all the different topics I talk about. So if you want to skip to one specific topic, you can do so. But I want to start with, I randomly, it hasn't happened for a while, I got a Katie Hopkins video recommended to me on my YouTube suggestions. Katie Hopkins, she hasn't entered my YouTube recommendations for a while. Good old Katie Hopkins, I kind of forgot about her existence completely. But it really made me laugh. Check this out.
Just cheeky checking. You do know, don't you, all of you greenie, I've got an electric car, I'm saving the planet. You do know that electricity doesn't come from the air, don't you? You know that it doesn't just come down a magic pipeline. You know that we have to actually make electricity by either nuclear or fossil fuels or whatever. You do know that, don't you? Because it seems to me a bit like the whole NHS is free. No, it's not. It's free at the point of use. Someone has to pay. Same with electricity. Electricity comes from a cable, but it still has to be generated. It's not actually green or better for the environment in and of itself. You do realise that, don't you? While you're just up there on your moral high ground or sat in your Tesla for 40 minutes charging your car like some sort of moron. Okay, perfect, great.
Oh, bless her. It's so funny, isn't it? It's like she's just discovered something. You know, she's discovered something amazing that no one else has realised before. Yes, electric is made, sometimes electric is made from burning fossil fuels. Yes, we get it. We get it, Katie. But what you're not realising is that a lot of electric comes from wind, nuclear, if you're into that sort of thing. And also, electric vehicles aren't pumping this shit out into our towns and cities where our kids are going to school, where people are walking the streets. Such a moron. She's such a moron. It's like I say, just this like fake intelligence that she's just discovered something that no one else has thought of, and everyone in the comment section going, "Oh, Katie, tell it how it is." These stupid left-wing Ramonas. Oh dear, it's terrible, isn't it? So, but the thing is, like, I mean, she's obviously being paid, right? I mean, this is the deal. She's obviously being paid by the oil companies. I'm going to take this opportunity to have a swig of coffee here. I know it's a girly mug, but if you watch my last Drive With Me video, my other mug was leaking. The one job that a mug has to do, keep the liquid in the container, and it couldn't handle it, so I changed my cups. The last one spilled coffee all over me. This one just spills coffee into the coffee cup holder, so it's not quite as bad. But yeah, back to Katie Hopkins. So obviously people like her are being paid, right, by the oil companies. She must be, because she's slagging off, and you know, anything that's trying to fight climate change. Same with Farage. Farage does the same thing, doesn't he? He absolutely hates wind turbines. He's always on, they're going to be rusting up the shores of England in 30 years' time. Look, they're obviously being paid. I mean, that's what's happening here, right? It's not like a crazy conspiracy theory to think that. They're obviously being paid by the oil companies to do this. But how much more money do these people want? I mean, I don't know about Hopkins. I guess she's probably quite desperate for a bit of cash, isn't she? She's not really doing anything. But Farage, he must have quite a bit now. How much more money does he need? Seriously, how much more money does he need? Does he really not care about the planet? He's got grandkids, hasn't he? Has he got kids? I've no fucking idea. I don't know. try to avoid anything to do with his personal life. But if he's got grandkids, doesn't he want a planet that is going to be okay? But then I guess what's going to be affected by climate change in 30 years' time is your sub-Saharan Africa and your Middle East that are going to burn to a crisp. I guess over here in England we'll just have a sort of nice African sort of temperature. So I guess people like Farage don't give a toss. But he loves hating immigrants though, right? Because I mean, that's another... that is a really good point. He hates immigrants. So what is the one single issue that's going to push immigrants to this country more than anything else? It's climate change. When sub-Saharan Africa and the Middle East becomes unbearable and people can't live there anymore because it's so hot, where are they going to go? Come on, Farage, you're not thinking your racism through properly, are you? You're not thinking it through properly. But yeah, that's a strange one for me, Hopkins. Anyway, that popped up on my on my feed, bizarrely. What else I want to talk about today? Keir Starmer was in the news yesterday for police. They're going to be investigating him. They're having talks with him, aren't they? A few people are scared. They're like, shit, was that really a good thing to do, to say you'd resign if you get a fine? That's going to turn Labour into turmoil, wasn't it? But I don't know. As soon as I found out that Keir Starmer said he was going to resign if he gets a fine, that just made me think, well, surely he must be 100% confident he's not going to get a fine. He wouldn't risk losing the Labour leadership and having to resign. I mean, obviously, he wants to be in power just as much as anyone else, right? Otherwise, he wouldn't be in the job. So I generally think he'd only come out and say that if he was 100% confident there is no way that he's going to get a fine for anything that he's done. Because basically he knows that everything he's done has been lunch while working. Whereas number 10 have had people throwing up in the corner, parties till dawn, and very obvious photos of Boris Johnson with a drink in his hand and several drinks on the table. So so yeah, I'm confident he's not going to get a fine because he wouldn't risk it. He would not risk it. But I understand the fear. You know, people are scared. They're like, shit, if he does resign, I'm sure Boris Johnson will put out an election straight away, because he'd probably win. I don't know. I don't get this snap election bullshit. I mean, this has only been like a massive theme in the last sort of 10, 15 years, hasn't it? I mean, up until then, we just had an election every 5 years, didn't we? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, if anyone knows any different. It only seems like the last 10, 15 years that basically just whoever's in government at the time just call an election whenever they're most popular. That can't be right, can it? Surely that's got to change. That's ridiculous. You can't have that. You just do it every 5 years. Just none of this faff in between. Ridiculous. It's crazy. But one thing I am going to say, another thing that's been floating around in my comment section, this is kind of what I do with these Drive With Me videos. It's kind of just like a discussion of my previous videos and anyone that's commented, a further discussion on their comments, really. But I think the best way, this is going to be a funny statement, the best thing for this country is for Boris Johnson to stay as Prime Minister. The best thing, the only way that we can fix this country is for Boris Johnson to stay as Prime Minister. Reason being, he's the biggest chance for the Tories to lose the next election, so he has to stay in place. He has to. The only way that we're going to change this country and do something good is by getting rid of this Tory government, and Boris Johnson is the best way to get rid of this Tory government, so he has to stay. You know, my last video was all about getting shot of Boris Johnson. But what I meant was in the next election. I don't want him to go now. I really don't want him to go now. And as other people have rightly pointed out, the replacements in the Tory party are far scarier. Far scarier than Boris Johnson when you look at it. Liz Truss, oh my God. She's got to be even more incompetent than him. And, you know, Sunak and Patel, these guys are way more far right than Boris Johnson. They scare me a lot more. So yeah, he needs to stay. He needs to stay in place for the next election, and hopefully that will give us the best chance to get rid of him. What do you guys think? Or is he just too dangerous? Do you need him gone? Because I get that argument as well. I do understand that argument that people just don't want him in power for another second. Every single second that he's in power, it just risks, especially with a war on and all sorts. It's scary. It's scary times. I didn't actually go the way that I'm going. I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to use a little bit of dual carriageway, which might put some of your guesstimates on the range, because I'm driving quite fast now. I didn't mean to go this way, but we're going this way. This is the A23 coming into Brighton now, so it's bank holiday weekend, and I was expecting a lot of traffic here today coming into Brighton, but I guess most people came yesterday. But yeah, 4-day weekend, bank holiday weekend, to celebrate the Queen's Jubilee, 70 years as the Queen. Longest reign, longer than Victoria, and it's interesting, isn't it? I don't know if not so long ago a video about the monarchy. If you get time off work, I'm sure you're enjoying the 4-day weekend. I'm sure that's a reason to keep the monarchy. But yeah, it interests me. We had a couple of protests, didn't we, yesterday? I mean, I think that always happens, doesn't it, on a big monarchy event? There's always some protesters not too happy about it. But how long do you give it now? How long is it going to last? Because I look at all these people that are out in London at Buckingham Palace cheering on the parade and stuff, and I'm thinking, is anyone under 40 there? I mean, once everyone above that age passes on, if they have a parade, is anyone really going to turn up? I don't know. I think it's slowly just going to disembark the royal family, isn't it, over time, as the interest dwindles. And there's talk that Charles is the one that will, I don't know whether they're going to skip one and go straight down to William, but I assume they'll go to Charles after old Queenie passes away. There's talk that he's the one that's really going to sort of disembark the royal family and make it smaller, make some massive changes. But why has Queenie stayed so long? I mean, has there ever been like a king or queen in previous years that has just stepped down from the job, or do they always have to die? Is that the rules? You have to wait till they die? She's just hanging on to that, isn't she? To the bitter end. She don't want Charles to have anything to do with it. But yeah, it's a weird one. And of course we got all the British flags and stuff at the moment. I ain't got anything against it. There's nothing wrong with putting your country's flag up. Nothing wrong with it at all. But it's time, isn't it? It's time for big change. We've been seeing it a lot recently with the booing of the national anthem at the FA Cup from the Liverpool fans. Like I said, we had a few protests. I think it's time. I think public opinion, like I say, it's probably more or less just the fact that the older generations, year by year, are just dying, and the young people just don't care, do they? They really don't care. Anyone under 30 going to turn up for a royal parade? They're happy to take the bank holidays, but yeah, it's nothing. It's time, isn't it? It's time. It's time to go. But we're in Brighton now. I'm going to call it quits there, because I think I've done. I don't. Is there anything else I wanted to talk about? This is what's frustrating when I do these driving me videos, because as you all know, I'm driving, right? So I don't have a. Is this guy going? Yeah, but someone needs to go. Someone needs to go. Yeah, obviously I'm not. Yeah, that was a bit dodge, wasn't it? That was very dodge. Yeah, obviously I'm not running off a script. I never am on my videos. So I kind of just have these things. I always forget there was something else I wanted to talk about, but I can't remember. Yeah, no, I think I'll have to call it time. I'll put my mileage when I get home. If you're alright, there's no prize. There's no prize involved. If you if you get the mileage right, you just get my respect, and that's about it, really. Thank you all for your likes and subscribes. Thanks for watching. If you want to support the channel, there's a thanks button down there. It won't go to improving anything. It will just go on stuff, really. But it's all very appreciated. Thank you so much for watching. Till next time, take care. So here we have 56 miles. So it was 66, wasn't it? So 10 miles. If you guessed that right, there's no prize. Just get my respect. So yeah, 10 miles to drive 15 miles. That's down to my graceful and energy saving driving style, of course.